Hey there, I'm Talia, founder of Workweek Lunch, where we are all about helping you learn how to meal prep to get more out of life. So today I'm going to show you how to make another cookbook recipe. Guys, the Workweek Lunch Cookbook is out. It came out on March 29th. You can get it in my bio link, but this recipe we are offering for free in the blog, which you can get a link to in the description and also in this video, but it's also in the cookbook. So this recipe is a Swiss chard and ground beef pasta skillet. It is almost a one-pan recipe. You're gonna need a pot to cook your pasta in and a large skillet for everything else. And then you just basically add the pasta to the big skillet, mix it all together, and you're good to go. If you are vegan or vegetarian, you can use Beyond or Impossible ground meat. And then if you're vegan, you can skip the cheese or just use nutritional yeast or vegan cheese. I love this recipe because it comes together in 20 minutes. There's hardly anything to chop, and it's super meal prep friendly. It reheats well in the microwave, it freezes well. I even took it camping when I prepped it a few weeks ago. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you make it, let me know in the comments. If you have anything you'd add or change, also drop a comment. So let's do it. So here are the ingredients for this recipe, which you can find in the description below. We're using Swiss chard here, but you can use kale, spinach, or any leafy green veggie that you like. We're using crushed tomatoes, which work really well on pasta. You could also use a tomato puree if you find that. And then Parmesan cheese, whipping cream, and heavy cream is great, but you can also use non-dairy milk. And then I'm using ground beef, but you can use ground turkey or Beyond Meat. And then I'm using oregano and crushed red pepper flakes and garlic. Very simple and easy to make this amazing pasta dish. So you want to chop your chard or whatever green you're using as thinly as possible, and I'm just going in with the full stems here, not really worrying about removing the stems because they cook down, and I like the texture of the stems, but if you're not into it, you can totally chop around them. And normally I eyeball things, but I'm measuring because it's a cookbook recipe and I wanted to make sure I'm doing it exactly as written. If you wanted to add more vegetables to this recipe, you can include onions. You could probably, honestly, I think eggplant would be really good if it's cooked down well enough. I think cauliflower could be good too. I mean, if you want to pump more veggies into it, you should go for it. And then again, because it's a cookbook recipe, I'm measuring pasta. Normally, this is something I'd eyeball. I usually use half a box of pasta in meal prep recipes to create 3 servings. That's been my go-to. It's about 6 ounces of a 12-ounce box. And then you want to cook your pasta first. Don't forget to salt your water. Then we're moving over to cook the rest of the ingredients in this large skillet. I will link the skillet in the description. It's my favorite pan that I use. So we're gonna brown the beef first and add some salt. Of course, pepper and garlic go in too. Once it's brown enough, we're gonna add the tomatoes and let those flavors blend together. What I love about this recipe is that it doesn't really need a lot of time to cook, but if you wanted to let it sit on the stove for a while, you totally could. I like heat, so plenty of crushed red pepper flakes for me, but you can skip it if you don't like heat. Don't forget to keep adding salt. So once it's bubbling, you can then add in the heavy cream or milk. Probably my favorite part of the whole recipe, honestly. And then once that's fully incorporated, you can go ahead and add in the Swiss chard, which will wilt into the pasta and have a great texture. You don't want to overcook it though, then it would kind of get, I don't know, soggy and not very appealing, but it just goes right in. Isn't this an amazing one pot situation? I mean, by the way, you can totally put this over spaghetti. You can put this over any kind of pasta you want. I like using the shells. I think it's just a cute pasta to use for this, and it meal preps well. You know, the sauce goes well with this pasta shape. Last but not least, we're adding the cheese. If you're vegan or dairy free, you can skip this, or you can also add nutritional yeast, or you can use non-dairy cheese if that's your jam. Totally up to you. But I would say that it's not necessary. And that's it, we're done. Look at that. Super easy and quick to make. This lasts in the fridge for up to 5 days and it freezes really well. So I hope that you try this recipe. I mean, what's not to love? It's cozy, it's comforting. holds up really well. It reheats easily in the microwave or on the stove, and I love it. So now we're just going to assemble it in containers. These containers actually are no longer in stock on Amazon, but I'll link other containers that I really like. Top with some more cheese, and we are good to go. Thanks for watching.